The shrieks of various people can be heard at the very outset. Things seem to move at a fast-forward speed, and a girl is tied in a chair, made silent by someone putting a hand on her mouth. Christian is examining the camera that he has been lent by his friend David, along with his sister July. They see its batteries and draw a knife out of the bag. Christian introduces them as Christian, his sister July, and their friend David, turning the camera on. He tells the camera while recording the video about their hobby to explore urban legends, and that this time they have decided to explore something new. When July breaks in and tells them that they do not have much choice, he further explains that their parents have made them spend their Easter holiday at a farmhouse in Sitges. Julie shows its picture to the camera and says that it has been abandoned for 10 years. Christian says that he has not done his report about the girl on the road, and that he has been researching the urban legends in Sitges and Al-Garraf. A girl in a red dress is said to have disappeared in Garraf Woods on the 2nd of October 1940, and the people say that if you get lost in those woods, the girl tells you the way out. David ridicules the story and asks about the girl's name. He tells them that her name is Melinda. The 30th of March 2010, day 1. They get in their car and talk casually on the way. Christian plays some music and Jose, his younger brother, is eating something on the rear seat and feeding Robin, his dog. Their father is driving the car. They reach their destination and get into the house, holding their luggage. They discuss its impression and various objects like the pictures, bedroom, and kitchen. Standing by the pillar, Christian asks Jose to come over and stand by it. He tells him that he is taller than Christian at the age of 6. They see an abandoned area from the window. They are playing cards when their father comes in, bringing sandwiches for them. Christian asks his father about his childhood toys. He tells him that they are in the basement, and his friend Carlos has the key. Christian goes to his mother's room and says goodbye while recording her. The abandoned area is shown in the darkness. The 31st of March 2010, day 2. Christian is acting, seeing himself in the mirror when July comes in holding her camera. He becomes surprised and holds his camera out to record her. They come out holding their cameras where they find their mom. They move towards the woods. Christian kicks the rusting gate, and they get in, making their way under the chain. Their mother calls out from behind and warns them not to go too far. They get separated in the woods. There are thin lanes to walk in the thick woods. Christian calls out to July, as he is not finding any way to get to her. July is also searching for him. Suddenly, he finds her sitting on a bench. The mother calls her, and she assures her mother that they are not lost and that they are recording a video. She hangs up. They find a dome there and rush to it. Christian asks her if she wants to get married over there to her boyfriend. No. They sit there. July does some meditation there, and they get back. While sitting by the fireplace, Christian asks his father about the labyrinth, to which he forbids them to go there. He tries to convince him by saying that they go there only to film it, but he strictly stops him from going there. The father is chopping the woods outside when he hands the axe to Christian to try. He tries to chop, but fails on his first attempt. July ridicules him for it. He tries once again and finally succeeds. He is sitting on the roadside, half asleep. July comes, and they observe a car coming toward them. He predicts it to be his dad's friend Carlos. The car stops, and a man peers out. He tells them that he has recognized them as Christian and July. They all come in and they start playing football. While sitting in the living room, Christian asks Carlos about the story of Melinda. He tells them that his father has told him about her, and that there is her ghost in the woods. Melinda got separated from her mother and never came back. If anyone gets lost in these woods, she shows them the way out. Nobody has ever seen her, and if you hear her moaning, you would never forget her voice. At night, Jose and Christian whisper, peering out of the window in the darkness. He asks if he hears the noise. Christian goes to wake July and asks her to listen to the noise. He predicts it to be Melinda. The 1st of April 2010, day 3. Christian sets the camera on the top of the stairs. July is lying on the carpet when their mother comes. He asks her about their dad. She tells him that he is out for some work. When she is gone, he takes July and they go to the basement silently. They find some old and strange things over there. Their picture, a TV, a VCR, and different objects amaze them. They find some old books there and a doll. July claims it isn't hers. They find some video cassettes there, and Christian plays them on the TV. They start to watch them. Suddenly, they hear the sound of a glass being broken. They rush out and find it on the kitchen floor. Their mother is sleeping in her room. Christian takes July and Jose to the labyrinth. He asks Jose to stay there at its gate and not to follow them. July and Christian go in, holding their camera. This time they decide to move together. Christian marks arrows on their way to get the direction right. They find a well there. He assumes it to be Melinda's well, in which she fell. He goes to it and calls out her name. He pretends to lean over its edge and almost falls in when July rushes to him and pulls him back. He laughs at her voice. At night, Christian fixes the camera in the window to capture the abandoned part so that the voice may be heard clearly. The 2nd of April 2010, day 4. The next morning, Jose cannot find Robin, his pet dog, anywhere. He looks around, but does not find him. Their mother promises him that Robin will come back because he knows the way back home. Christian asks her to go into the labyrinth and search for Robin, but she does not permit him to do this. She has an apprehension that they will be lost in the woods. Christian and July go anyway to search for Robin. They call out his name, but do not see anything. They are amazed that Robin is not making any noise. Christian apprehends that he may have gone after some animal. Suddenly, he notices blood on the ground. He draws July's attention toward it. Following the blood signs, they reach the well, which they think to be associated with Melinda. Peering inside it, they find the body of Robin. July begins to weep at the sight. They think about how to tell the others about it. They go back and find Jose sitting on the stairs. He asks about Robin, to which they reply that they have not found him yet, and that they will soon find him. Christian goes to his room to check the footage of last night on his laptop, but does not find the footage. July tells him that she unplugged the cable from the laptop last night. He gets fiery at her. Suddenly, they hear the sound of their mom, who is looking out for Jose. She tells them that Jose is missing. They rush after her, calling out for Jose. They call out to their mom, but she does not stop. Christian and July are running after her. They follow her to the woods. In the darkness, she enters the labyrinth. Christian and July also get there, running behind her. They are holding a torch and their camera. They are looking for them in the darkness. Suddenly, July starts to scream as if she has seen something supernatural. She runs to Christian and falls to the ground. He helps her to stand by holding her hand. She finds that her camera has stopped working. They resume following their mother. July asks him to go back to the house, to which he says that they don't know where they are, so they keep moving. Suddenly, Christian starts to run into doubt about having seen his mother. July tries to stop him and asks him to wait for her, but he runs hysterically into the dark woods. It makes him lose July as well. He calls out to July but does not get any response. Now he is moving along. He looks around in search of his family. Suddenly, he dashes into some objects and begins to scream, dropping his camera on the ground. He seems to be dragged by some invisible force. After a while, he manages to run, and he begins to run away. He runs as fast as he can, but all his efforts go to waste when he reaches the same point where he has left from. He is sobbing and thumping badly. After a while, he happens to reach the tomb where he and July came earlier. He finds July there. Both hands are tied to the ceiling of the tomb, and her mouth is bleeding badly. Christian rushes to her. He sets his camera on the ground and runs to July. He unties her hands and gives her his shirt to keep in her mouth. July is so frightened that she starts to scream, noticing someone coming towards her. Christian tells her that it is him. He takes her along, holding her hand. He consoles her and tells her that they are going home. On their way, July screams, and he finds a big nail pricked in her foot. He draws it out and takes her to their home. He makes her sit on the floor and rushes to the kitchen to bring a napkin for her wound. Suddenly, she starts to cry hysterically. Christian rushes out and finds her sitting beside the burnt body of Jose that she has seen in the fireplace. He takes her to a room and asks her to hide in the cabinet. She sits in the cabinet, and Christian closes its door. Then he rushes upstairs to save his life. He locks the room and keeps a chair beneath the lock of the door. He sets the camera fixed on the door and hides. The next moment, the chair is lying away from the door, and the door is half open. He examines the camera and looks around. The 3rd of April 2010, day 5. Christian comes out and goes downstairs carefully. He is breathing heavily and fast, moving on carefully. He reaches the room where July is hidden in a cabinet. As he goes to it, he finds it empty, and blood is scattered all around. He goes into shock and screams out loudly. The news reports and the investigation by the police later on tell the whole story. The police department is called for help by Carlos afterward. He claims to find all the kids already gone when he gets there to see them. Different instances of terrible things happening are also found in the woods. 4 members of the family have been eliminated, of which 3 are minors, and 1 is their father. The police department finds some video recordings there, and the whole investigation relies on the videos. The videos prove that it was all done by one person, and that is their mother, who has silenced her husband and kids. She suffers from postnatal depression, due to which she got rid of her newborn daughter earlier. She assumes an entirely different character while committing the crimes.